all good-looking group, and we thank you for coming. As mayor of the city of Fort Mitchell, together with members of city council, city employees, and volunteers, I would like to extend a big welcome to all of you this evening. We're certainly glad you're here tonight. As you know, we have several events planned beginning with tonight's Centennial Dinner and continuing through next week. This is all to help commemorate the founding of Fort Mitchell 100 years ago. We have invited some special guests with us tonight, and at this time I would like to introduce them if they would please stand, and we could give them appropriate applause. Senator Jack Westwood and his wife Kelly. Kent County Judge Executive Ralph Greaves and his wife Irma. Lakeside Parks Mayor Catherine Turward and her husband Bill. Rescue Hills Mayor Paul Meyer. Council Member Vicki Berger, who also chaired the Centennial Committee with her husband Mark. Council Member Mary Burns, she's also served on the Centennial Committee. Council Member Bill Reese and his wife Ann. Council Member Dave Schran and his wife Corinne. Council Member Will Turward, who also served on the Centennial Committee. Council Member Christopher Weiss, he also served on the Centennial Committee, and his wife Michelle. Council Member Dennis Seiler and his wife Barbara. Also tonight we have some descendants from General Lawrence B. Mitchell, who have traveled from out of state to visit with us this evening, and we want to welcome them. We welcome Peter Mitchell from Pennsylvania and Matthew and Stephanie Mitchell from Connecticut. Nina Meek, Cahill and Kate Callaghan from Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. And Peter, I forgot to mention your friend that is with you this evening, Ashley Pound. I apologize. While the city was named for General Mitchell, one of the founding fathers was Alexander Greer Simrall, whose name was added to the Wall of Honor this past year. Some of his descendants are also joining us tonight. Welcome Fran and Joe Hall, and Paige and Gray Hall. The other founding father name that was added to the Wall of Honor this year was Frank Van Winkle. There are several members of his family, John and Jan Morledge, here as well. There are also several members of the Lockwood family here who traveled from Illinois, Florida, and Ohio. I'm not sure where they're sitting. Back here. And finally, we have the Kreuzkamp family. Mr. Kreuzkamp was one of the first trustees of the city of South Fort Mitchell, which many of you may or may not know, but South Fort Mitchell merged with Fort Mitchell back in the 60s. And of course, the big controversy was, well, what are we going to name the town? And in that particular case, you know, a little common sense came into play, and somebody says, well, there's no sense in naming the South Fort Mitchell if you don't have a Fort Mitchell, so let's just call it Fort Mitchell. So, anyway, Mr. Cruzcamp was one of the trustees of South Fort Mitchell, and there's some Cruzcamps here this evening. Back here in town. Finally, we have a number of guests from the Cincinnati Observatory. I think there's about 18 or 19 of them, if they could just stand up. There's also some people tonight that we wish to thank for helping to make not only this evening possible, but all the things that are going on over the next several days. The city would like to thank Mr. Jim Huff for sponsoring a Centennial Dinner, and his wife for Mr. Matt Tobin for contributing to the dinner as well. Robert Emmert Hayes and Associates for sponsorship of the entertainment at the Taste of Fort Mitchell. I'd also like to acknowledge the members of the Centennial Planning Committee, chaired by Council Member Vicki Berger. And a number of people shared their family history and their photos for the forthcoming book that will be published later this year, and we certainly want to thank them. Dr. Paul Tencotti, Dr. Richard Cardosi, Mr. Tom Gaither, Mr. Tom Bloomline, Mr. Jerry Arian also shared their time and talents to ensure the success of the events. And And finally, our thanks to the management and staff of Fort Mitchell Country Club for hosting us, and the staffs of the Barringer Crawford Museum, the Cincinnati Observatory, the Diocesan Catholic Children's Home, and certainly not least the staff of the city of Fort Mitchell, because not only did they have this to do, but they also had the normal duties to do, so we thank them a lot. Before we introduce the two keynote speakers we have this evening, I'd like to take a few moments and share some of my thoughts with you all. Fort Mitchell is a great community. One of the reasons it is a great community is because of the people who have made it their home. There are newcomers to Fort Mitchell, and there are families who have lived here for generations. I know many of you here tonight have deep roots in Fort Mitchell. Going back several generations, two of my own grandsons who live in the city are now the fifth generation of my family to live in Fort Mitchell. We honor the vision of the people who founded our city and those who made the city what it is today. We also honor the commitment and sacrifices of many hardworking families who have generously donated their time, effort, and resources to improve their community. As a way to recognize those outstanding people, past and present, who have made extraordinary contributions to the betterment of the city, we established the Wall of Honor with the names of those persons inscribed. Each year we accept nominations to the exceptional contribution of volunteers, employees, city officials with induction on the Wall of Honor. Reflecting on those names on the Wall of Honor helps us to understand how our community came to be and what it is today.